everyone, and welcome to lesson 36.2, our last lesson in Unit 5, Part 2 before our test. Today we're going to talk about the volume of spheres and hemispheres. In order to calculate the volume of spheres and hemispheres, we have to use our 2 to the third power button here. And we use that with that little caret button on our calculators found right here. So if we're going to calculate 12 to the third power with caret and 3 in there, get our total of 1,728, or if we have it on using it on the computer here, again 12 caret on Google to the third to get our answer there. So try the other example here, 7 to the third, on your own. So again, you should have had 1,728 and then 7 to the third, you should have gotten 343. Now, the reason we need that is because of the formulas for the volume of a sphere and the volume of a hemisphere. Now, a volume of a sphere is going to need the radius of our great circle of our sphere, and we're taking 4/3 times pi r cubed on that one, and then the volume of the hemisphere is half of that, 2/3 pi r cubed. And again, if we're taking half of our volume of a sphere, so how much space our sphere takes up, half of that would turn it into half of 4/3 is 2/3. So that's where that's coming from. And again, that's that space it's taking up. So a couple other things to note when it comes to our calculator. You can just type it in as a fraction to type in 4/3. So if we're trying to type in 4/3, oops, not 1/3, 4/3, you could just type it like this, as is, times your pi, times whatever your radius is. Let's say our radius is 12. We times 12, cubed it, okay, and you get your answer for that. Same thing if you were using Google. You would have, again, if we're using, let's say we're using 12, we would have just type 4/3, 4 divided by 3, times our pi, and our radius to the third power. So just practice typing that in to make sure that you are getting the correct answer. Okay. Now, as we move back to the notes themselves, we now want to figure out what are those volumes for these particular questions. Okay, so for this first one, we have the volume of a sphere, and again, 4/3 times pi times our radius cubed will give us our final answer. So 4/3 times our pi times that radius value to the third, we get about 268.1 if we are rounding to the nearest tenth. Now remember, volume is always units cubed if you are including those. Similar to the question we had yesterday, if we're looking for the volume given the radius as a mixed number, remember, instead of writing it as a mixed number, which is a little hard for our calculator, we know that 3/4 is actually 0.75. So we have 4.75 as the radius on this one. And as we type this one in, volume of that sphere, that basketball, 4/3 times pi times 4.75 cubed. On this one, you should get 448.9 inches cubed. Try the next one on your own. If you are pumping up this spherical beach ball, again, a ball is a sphere, so 4/3 times pi times your radius cubed, you should have 33.5 cubic feet on that. All right, and then a couple examples on the back quickly with the hemispheres. Again, if the hemisphere, we're changing it up ever so slightly, it's now 2/3 pi times our radius cubed. So on this one, you're just using 2/3 times pi times that radius value of 3.2 cubed. You get a total of 68.6 cubic meters. And then always be careful if they're giving you something in terms of your diameter, you need to make sure that you find the radius instead in order to calculate that. And the hemisphere is 2/3 times pi times your radius cubed you should get about 7.1 inches cubed. All right, last but not least, again, volume consists of holding liquids or filling something up. So if we are going to have a bowl that is shaped like a hemisphere, given this radius, what would your liquid that you can hold be? Well, again, if our radius is 4.5, plug it in to be 2/3 times pi times our radius cubed, should have had about 190.9. All right, and that concludes the couple examples on volume of spheres and hemispheres. Thanks for watching. We'll work more with these in class.